Hello and welcome to the second annual of Resiliency in Rhythm. My name is Jeanette Munga, and I am honored to be this year's co-producer and host. Resiliency in Rhythm creates space for authentic journeys of young people in the Portland metro area to express their creative language, which may include music, dance, song, fashion, multi art, and spoken word. Their creative language is grounded in real life experiences. Each performer has moved past the emotional grip of their suffering and shifted into the depth of their possibility. They each have been empowered to look more critically at the experiences that have shaped them so that they can begin to walk through this world not as victims, but as heroes of their reimagined stories. Their empowering stories are a collective wake up call for adults to look past challenging youth behaviors and sometimes racially based judgments on their potential, and to recognize that we are all more than the worst thing that has ever happened to us. And with a little bit of love, support, and encouragement, young people have the potential to shift from rough to resilient and to rise up. Let us begin.
Man, I just hope this resonate. I'm trying to see my brothers out here elevate. And I ain't teaching soul, and I ain't trying to educate. I just know it's hella youngins out there and they repping gang when they ain't even frontin' gang. Tell me, why you wanna bang? Why don't you do something different, go out there and make a change? I just hate seeing my families going through major pain. So I grabbed the mic and made a name so I could change the game. I can't even blame the youngins now. It's how they was raised. Ain't nobody taught them right from wrong, and they got me ashamed. I'm looking at the youngins in my city, and I gotta pray, cause they see this gang and they ain't thinking it's the only way. You wanna get some cheese, I understand, but don't throw your life away. They don't got the patience and they wanna get it right away. Trying to rob somebody, taking chances, you could die today. Got your mama in the house crying, lying wide awake. Way too many tears on her face, can't even wipe away. See, this my letter to the streets, I hope you hear me. I'ma take my chance to tell you now why you still here with me. My cousin said he'll die for the streets. Bro, you scaring me. You got a daughter that need a father. You got a family. Young as 15, catching bodies. Are you kidding me? I could actually make a difference and it's just now hitting me. And a lot of time was wasted, I understand. Hope you forgive me. Cause if you die, I feel like it's blood on my hands and that's killing me. Man. So I gotta say this now. A lot of kids could have balled. They could have took a different route. But you can start right now. You can make it out, man. You can change the town. Kings and queens, don't ever let your crowns hit the ground. They gonna see you make a change, and they gonna wonder how. It's crabs in this bucket, everybody trying to pull you down. And I ain't trying to say nothing special or be profound. I just want you to understand it, so I try to break it down. Man, I just hope this resonate. I hope you really listen to me. Don't just let the records play. Understand my words, let it sink in, let it marinate. And when you make your mind up, come to me so we can celebrate.
Wow, that was amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. So
Great
for the
opportunity.
audience who are watching, tell us your name. Introduce yourself to them.
Bonwavi, Bonwavi, from North Portland, born and raised. And I'm an artist of all types.
Wow. How long have you been an artist?
Well, I've been an artist by definition pretty much my whole life, but in the music world, I've been doing music for about 2 years now.
When did it start? Like where did it start?
Man, so basically, I started just on my laptop. My roommate had Logic, which is a recording program on his computer. So I was working off of his computer. Then I started getting it on my computer, and I was rapping in my car. And then from there, I built me a whole little studio using the money I had. But yeah, it just started 2 years ago, rapping in the car.
So for those who are listening, what kind of inspiration do you want to give them? What word of advice do you want to give to those who are they love music, but they're not too sure about their talents and their skills. And what word of advice would you give them based on your experiences?
That's a good question. Well, based on my experience, what I would tell any young aspiring artist is do what you like. You know, don't do what you think people are gonna like, what you think might sound good. You know, create what you like to create. You know, don't worry about how many fans you're gonna have, what your sound's gonna be like. And then after you figure that out, I'll tell them you're not gonna win if you don't put in the work. So I think those are the two main ingredients: is being authentic to yourself and doing what you like, but you also have to put in that blood, sweat, and tears. And I think that's something that's looked over a lot. So I would just say be yourself, your complete self. And everybody say that, but it's a lot harder when you get into that world and you're thrown into the studio with different artists, and you got to be truly authentic to who you are. But create what you like to create. Don't let no one change what you think you like. And you have to force yourself to put in the work. You have to be up early and you have to stay up late. So that's what I would tell them.
So the secret ingredient is authenticity and hard work.
Yeah, that's what it is. And of
Straight
course,
up.
you got to know some people here and there. You know, you got to, but that'll come along the way. Because people will find you. That's one thing I tell them. People will find you as long as you're being your best self.
Wow. You write music about your emotions, about, you know, a lot of things, and it comes in different ways, either R&B, rock, whatever it is. But what is the message really?
I think the overall message is that I am my true self. I think that's the overall message that I'm trying to get off of my music, is that who you hear through this track is who you gonna meet in person. And that, you know, these things that I'm saying, you're gonna figure out things about me through the tracks. And so I may talk about stuff and it may have a message like, you know, I'm talking about stop the violence. But when I say stuff like that, I'm talking about personal experiences that I want to stop. You know what I mean? Of course I want global gang violence to stop, but it's certain people in my head that I'm thinking about when I say, you know, young is catching bodies and young is doing, you know what I'm saying? There's certain people that I'm thinking about when I'm saying I don't want to see you go down this road. And, you know, of course that can be transferred globally, but that message, when I'm thinking of saying that, is personal. And so when all these songs, whether I'm talking about stopping the violence or I'm talking about close the cars, you know, I'm talking about stuff that's true to me and stuff that I have a love for.
Right.
So you gon' my message is that I'm my true self and you should be too.
When I put my head under the water, the screams of my ancestors clog my head. Yet I stay underwater, I stay. I want to hear them because they are screaming me instructions on how to survive. They are singing me Negro spirituals, guiding me to the freedom they fought for. They're making the water stab me with their pain, my pain, over and over again. So I sing Negro spirituals, I scream, yet the stabbing is still there. Why is it still here? Why do I still feel it? Why isn't it gone? They tell me, keep that hand on that plow and hold on. They tell me, hold on. Hold on, keep that hand on that plow and hold on. So I hold on. And the whites of my hand begin to crispen in the sun. The water once over my head is now under. I hold on. Singing Negro spirituals, my soul looks back and knows how we got over. I hear my ancestors roar through the water of my soul. In the buildings that they built, in the air that you breathe, in the seats that they fixed, in the waters that roar. I am the plantations they harvest for a harvest they could not eat. I am on the hands of murderers with the noose to their neck. My ancestors weep. They fought for a change. They begged for a change. Give me a change. So don't be mad when we burn down cities you forced us to make. Don't be mad when we shout and scream at the systems you built to kill us. So I hold on to that plow, singing Negro spirituals and dreaming of better days. Thank you.
Hi,
Hi.
thank you for
Yeah.
joining us and telling us about your poetry. I just want to ask, like, for those who are listening, can you introduce yourself?
So, my name is Laila Vickers. I am 15. I'm a sophomore at Central Catholic. I use she, they pronouns, and I am a poet, artist, and an actor.
So tell me, when did you know that you had, talent in poetry and acting, and when did that start for you?
I think the first time I ever did an actual spoken word was 4th grade. It was Our Deepest Fears. I saw it in Aquila the Bee, and my mentor got me it on a plate, and I was like, I want to do this at our talent show. So I did that. It was really fun, and then I think 5th grade I wrote my own. That was the first time, and then it kind of just went on from there. Most talent shows and stuff.
So tell me, what kind of things do you write about, and where does your inspiration come from?
I would say it mainly just comes from my identity, you know what I mean? But I've been trying to venture out and do different things that aren't just about my identity or about feelings, all that stuff. But for most of it, it's just about being a Black woman in America and what that feels in different spaces, and how that translates in who I am today and stuff. Connecting back with ancestral roots, just being an African American person, not really having that connection, so making that through poetry, and then also just writing things that I would want to see on the stage someday, you know what I mean? So but I'm wanting to venture out a lot more.
Yeah. So when you write, who do you write to?
I normally just write to people, I write to a younger version of myself. A lot of the time I have this one piece, Dear Future Daughter, and that's kind of after that I feel that's really helped who I'm speaking to when I'm writing, which is just a younger version of myself, Black girls in general. But it's also to the people who I think need to hear it, you know what I mean? But then it's also to myself personally, it's more of a personal thing and kind of what I wish I heard.
So when you write, what kind of message are you sending?
I really just want to send a message that's substantial in a way that it can be translated in different spaces. So if somebody hears my poetry, then they could be okay, this is an experience that one person has, and hopefully bring it on to the next person, and be more aware, be more empathetic to that other person who possibly looks like me, who has same struggles as me, you know what I mean, same identity as me, and just being able to have people empathize with each other and just hopefully bring that togetherness through it.
So for our audience, what word of inspiration would you like to give to any young female who is watching this?
I feel just a word of inspiration or a phrase would be, especially to young Black artists in general, would be that you are always an artist no matter what you're doing, and to remember that, and to make art not through just one media, you know what I mean, and understand if you're not making it through that media, you're still fully an artist, and your soul will always be being an artist, you know what I mean? And make sure that you share art with others, but also share art with yourself. Make art for yourself before you make it for others,
So the message is to do what you love. Right?
At all times that you possibly can.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
I still remember this like it was just yesterday. It was just a couple months into my first year of middle school, and there were about 4 white boys with blonde hair that continuously bullied me through my 6th grade and 7th grade year. I still remember all the time they would walk past me and start pushing me and insulting me and disrespecting my culture, calling me an African booty scratcher, saying I was poor, I was a cultureless person, I'm a starving African, and that I need to go back to Africa because I'm too done to be an American. As they continue to take advantage of the power and privilege, they also continue to make me feel powerless and unimportant. And back then, I was always too scared to go tell the teachers, the principal, or any adult at the school. So days, weeks, and months passed as I let them continue on stereotyping me, commodifying me, and destroying my confidence. They continued to put me down so much that I started believing their hatred, to the point where I didn't want to be African anymore. I wanted to lose all trace of my culture, tradition, and way of life. I didn't want to dress like an African. I didn't want to eat, look, sound, or smell like an African anymore. But one day, I want to go talk to my mom about how I felt and what people were saying about Africans and Africa. And fortunately, my mom had a different perspective about being African. She explained how beautiful and unique we are, how our people are deeply connected to our roots and cultures. Through my own experience, I have learned more about my culture, heritage, and who I am. But even then, they still continue to label me. But today, I refuse to allow their pencil to draw a picture of who I am. For I am as African as the music, the life, the beat, the melody, and the tune. I am from East Africa, a country called Tanzania. I am from a gifted nation. I am from love and kindness. I am from a place where I can be proud and independent. I am from a place of love, a place of miss, a place full of kids, a place of peace, a place of fun, a place of friendship. I am from a loving family where I'm a precious stone, more special than gold. I am from you could, you should, you will be. I am from being a scared little boy to becoming a leader, a role model, and having the confidence to speak my opinion. Striving for success and becoming the first generation in my family to go to college with a full ride. As of today, I remove the limitation and claim back my identity, because an African is exactly who I am. Ngaha'a tirikotua tangura, which means this is only the beginning. I have used the challenges I have faced as an opportunity to succeed in my new American culture, as well as stay true to myself and my African heritage. Mastering these challenges has enabled me to be a better version of myself. One who is proud of my culture, beauty, and isn't afraid to be different or stuck in a box of labels from society. After graduating, I will use my college experience and expertise to give back to my community by sharing my time, knowledge, and money. Specifically, I would like to share my experience of being a Black professional in the sports industry. Being able to provide mentorship is something I value now and would like to give it back to youth in my community and around the world. And by creating an affordable training gym, I will have the opportunity to train and also mentor young men and women.
First of all, I just want to congratulate you. Thank you so much for being able to be here and share your story with us.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about the history of your name.
So my name is Jafeti Nyongabere-Yimana, and it's originally from Tanzania, and it's basically my last name represents, it's just a verse in the Bible basically saying that God is going to be with you wherever I go. And then my first name is just like, it's meant enlightenment, and that's kind of like what my parents were. They were just like enlightened when they first see me. And then it was just like, they say it represents my character, represent who what I was gonna become and be, and I think it really does represent what I'm trying to be.
So your name suits you.
Yeah.
So tell me about your home country.
So I grew up in a refugee camp. I spent my 9 years over there, and like you said, there's a lot of poverty over there. There's a lot of lack of opportunities. and just everything that's going on. There's always feels like you're always just fighting to stay alive there. But the other thing is there's always a lot of great things there too. There's a lot of great family, chemistry, a lot of friendship, and just a lot of opportunity for you to be creative and be yourself over there. Because I feel like there's a lot of people that's going through the same struggle, and it's like you guys are fighting to get food, get clothes, and stuff like that. But at the same time, you still have that warmth of the love that keeps you alive and keeps you going. I think love is wealth there instead of like it being here is like money is wealth. I feel like over there it's like love is the wealth over there.
I want to ask, how did everybody else react to that transformation when you first talked to your mom, then went back home and did a lot more research on your people and your culture? So what changed? What were the changes when you went back to your school and the surroundings that you were in?
Yeah, I definitely felt like that's when doors and opportunities started opening up, because then I wasn't doing so much things to try to satisfy other people, but I was just living my life, and things just started opening up, because I feel like when I was trying so hard to satisfy everybody else, I wasn't finding the joy for myself, and I wasn't pursuing my passions and my things. My end goal is to do marketing for Nike and obviously become an entrepreneur. I always want to open up my own business. I don't know exactly what yet, but I'm definitely wanting to open up my own business, and then especially just helping my parents out with a family farm business that we have started up. It has pushed me to really be an entrepreneur in the future, and I know I'm gonna be a successful entrepreneur. And with everything I went through and all the stuff that I've been learning, I know I'm gonna open up something that is gonna value not just myself but my community, which was something I really want to do. I just want to give back to the people that gave to me.
To you, what word of advice would you give them, especially young male like yourself?
I had to say, don't let the society label who you are. Because they're always going to tell you, you can't be this, you can't be that, you can't be that. But at the end of the day, it's like you can be. Nobody should be able to tell you that. And as long as you have confidence in yourself and you have that support, especially your family members, you can do anything. I feel like we, as black male, we grow up, especially like trying to hide our emotions and just trying to do certain things that society wants us to do. And I think once you break that bridge of becoming yourself and really just blooming out of that shell, you can achieve anything that anything that you want to be and become.
Thank you so much. Your story is very, very inspiring.
Hi, my name's Neveah Bray, and I am an African-American woman living here in Portland, Oregon, and I've sat by and watched my fellow brothers and sisters protest in the streets since the beginning of summer. I've sat by and watched my fellow brother and sisters get tear gassed. I've sat by and watched my fellow brother and sisters get arrested. I've sat by and watched my fellow brother and sisters get murdered. And I'm tired of sitting by. It's time for everyone, including white, black, brown, yellow. Everyone needs to stand up now for the fight of not just my black life, but my fellow brother and sisters' black lives. There's only so much I can do. I'm 18, and I feel the stress of a 50-year-old. I cry at night just thinking about how much pain that not only my ancestors have had to endure, but just my friends, my family, and there's nothing else I want more than just for this world to be at peace and complete, for me to be able to walk down the street hand in hand with my own mother who is white and my younger sister who's black and not have to worry about skin color. This is deep-rooted for centuries, for years, and I'm tired, and the pain in my heart can no longer endure what we have been living through. And here in Portland, we have amazing people fighting this amazing fight to help one day unite black, brown, yellow, white, whoever you are, to come and live in harmony, live in peace, live in love, and live together as one. And I'm ready now to take this fight. I signed, the day I was born, I knew I was going to be walking into this world always with a target on my back, always with people looking at me one direction, one way or another. Being a bisexual woman now in America, I know that I'm gonna always have to fight this fight, and I'm ready and I'm here and I want you to fight this fight with us. There's gonna be a lot of trials, there's gonna be a lot of errors, there's gonna be a lot of bumps, but we have to continue to push forward and make this movement not just a momentum that's gonna last in 2020, but it's gonna last for centuries. And I'm gonna be able to have a place where I can give my children a home where they feel safe and they feel welcome and they feel loved and they feel accepted, regardless of the color of their skin, regardless if my children come out white, whether they come out black, brown, I do not care. I just want them to be loved and accepted for who they are and not be ashamed to walk down the street with someone that's their friend that's black or brown. It doesn't matter. Color should not be a thing. I just want to be able to love and not be fearful for my life or my brother's life or my father's life. And so I plead and I pray at night and I just cry so much, but I don't want to cry anymore. I want to be happy and I want to be able to be free and live in this land of America as a strong black woman.
I traveled to a lot of different states over the summer and got to analyze how they protest and what they're doing differently and how they're keeping the movement going. And it's beautiful to see that because you don't really understand until you actually put yourself in that climate, in that environment of what they go through on a daily basis, what their struggles are. I definitely feel like we've become unified and, we've been teaching our elders and we've been learning from our elders also, which is such an important part because, as, the younger generation, we think we know it all, but at times, there's times where, our elders can be like, no, no, I don't, but just learning is such a big obstacle that we have to overcome because if we look in our educational systems and what they're teaching us, they're not teaching us what we need to learn as Black people. They're not teaching us our history, our culture, and they're not teaching us that, that is our culture. And as Black people, coming from being biracial and having a white mother, I didn't get to learn my Black culture like I should have. All I'm learning is that, when white people have box braids or have long nails or wear hoop earrings, it's okay. But when I do it, it's called ghetto or just, I get made fun of for it, which is not okay. And I think it's important that in our educational systems, we learn about our history, learn where we come from, learn how important our hair is to us, and that as white girls, it's not okay to have box braids in your hair. It's not okay to have cornrows just because Kim Kardashian or whoever the stars are wearing it. That does not make it okay. And as for our hair, as Black women, and Black people in general, they used to shave our heads to strip us from our identities when we came to America. They took everything and anything away from us to dehumanize us. So our hair is such an important part to our culture that I feel like we don't understand because we never learned about it, and it's okay. But it's not okay for people to sit here and know how important, our hair is to us, but continue to take our culture and profit and benefit from it. And when we wear it, we're called ghetto or ratchet or whatever, all the stereotypes that Black women get called. And America as a whole needs to appreciate Black women because we're constantly getting pushed under and made to feel less than the other when that's not the case at all. We are all equal. We are all human beings, and we should all love each other and treat each other kindly because at the end of the day, you don't from the next person, you don't know what they face on a daily basis, and the color of their skin makes their life a little bit harder for them or so much more harder for them. And whatever place in the country you come from, understand your privilege.
I think I always say stay in your own lane And a part of that, what I mean is this, okay, what are the skills and capabilities you have as an individual, and how can you use that to better the movement, right? We have brilliant artists who make our posters for the events. We have speakers who are confident and well-spoken, who take arms and who take the charge. We have photographers such as myself who can document the moment so that others who couldn't be there can see and feel those moments just of a movement, you know. But it's not adults leading it, it's us. And I think there is that, to us, it's not comprehensible. The answer seems so straightforward. Like, how can you not understand that there's a problem? Or why can't you do something about it? The answer is in your powers. So to us, it's frustrating and exhausting when we have to remind people to keep caring. And I think you speak on that more and more as this movement keeps going, is how exhausting it can be.
Yeah. I just think, being a junior in high school, it's a lot to juggle, like being in the movement and really understanding what your purpose is in the movement. Like you said, knowing your place.
For me personally, trying to figure out who I am as a Black woman and how I'm supposed to advocate for the lives of all of my fellow Black people, but also trying to see where I fit in specifically in that role of society, being a Black woman that's newly coming into my own and newly learning all these things. I feel for so long I felt so uneducated about all these different events that have happened in history, and it's a huge load to kind of have to bear, finally coming into my own personally and trying to help others and protest and advocate and keep up in the classroom and deal with volleyball. There's we have life going on as well, but this is something that we're gonna have to deal with for the rest of our lives.
We're so shut off to our Blackness our whole lives because we are never, educated on our Blackness when it comes to the school systems, and that's where we spend our most time, and we're constantly learning about the white man's history, but where is our,
it's true. I also think it's, my perspective is that I'm not African American. I became African American, but first and foremost, I'm Ethiopian. I'm adopted from Ethiopia. That's my country. That's my culture. But I had to relearn my identity when I came to this country. I was told.
What was that like for you?
That was mind-boggling, to go from a person who was very clear in his culture, his traditions, his songs, his language, and to suddenly be introduced to a history where my history starts the year this country starts, and nothing from that beginning has been anything but trauma. So inherently, this country was never built to have us be a part of it or in the consideration of it, right?
Never.
So, do y'all feel like there's been a shift in energy, in Portland, since the protests have started?
Personally, I felt of just a huge shift in energy from everyone that I've known in my life. Everyone has shifted. Every Black woman that I know in my life has found and come into and have grown into a new energy, and it's intimidating. White people are honestly scared of me when they see me. I see it. I see it in their face. I see it in their body language. And it's something that I'm not worried about if my presence is too intimidating for you to handle. All I need from a white person is the respect. If you respect me, then that's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for your help. I'm not asking for you to love me. I'm not asking for you to necessarily protect me. I just give me the respect that we have all deserved for centuries, and that's all I need.
You can't just wake up one day and be like, oh, I'm gonna support Black lives, and the next day you're not. And it's heartbreaking because it just shows you that how white people are so comfortable, how people who don't have Black skin are so comfortable in America. Because as Black people, we feel like we have to almost, constantly be preaching and saying, my life matters. Look at me. And we shouldn't even have to be saying that because it should be a given fact.
It should be a given.
And it's exhausting to constantly have to basically prove ourselves to people who don't understand us.
And it's not just the big stuff. It's not just my life matter. It's quite literally being in the store.
Yeah.
And how and subconsciously, I don't even recognize it sometimes. But there are the moments I stop and go, why the hell did I just wave and smile to that person to try to make them understand that I'm a nice one?
Yeah.
There's all
Or
those
to make them feel comfortable.
Yes, to feel them comfortable. All these things that I will do in my day that I don't even think about.
Yeah.
It's subconscious. It's subconsciously we are making these decisions built
all
around white people.
And it's like in classrooms, like, did they make me feel comfortable? Like,
No.
were you uplifting me, or were you laughing at me when I got an answer wrong, or were you laughing at me because I got box braids, or were you asking me if my hair was real or not?
Yeah.
Like, no. So why should I have to subside? Like, yeah, you know, like, why should I have to?
And it's those growing up with those questions and those moments of stopping and self-analyzing and going, why do I have to do this? That's my fuel. That's my basic fuel for these movements. Is I'm not just fighting for my life. I'm fighting for the quality of my life. How if I spend more of my day on my school and my well-being and my mental health instead of worrying about the comfort levels of every white person in the store, I would be a whole lot different of a person. And I think when I was in school and we got on that, touchy subject of slavery, we would talk about it for 45 minutes.
Let me tell you.
The kids would look at me, the teacher would look at
Oh
me like
my
if I was.
God.
and I remember
Every
one-
black person
Yes,
knows.
I
Every black
remember
person
in
knows
7th grade, I
this.
stood up and I said, I wasn't there.
Right.
Like, why are you looking at me? Like, I was like, y'all, even if I was on the wrong side of the continent. Like, I don't know but it's true. There is that expectation that we just inherently have trauma. And and I think it's hard for white people, and I understand that for white teachers, it might be difficult for them to talk about it, but I don't care.
I don't think it is, honestly. I think white people feel entitled to talking about it because it's like, oh, well, like, it's just such a brief, because it didn't happen to them.
Yeah.
And in
It's a
7th
privilege
grade,
not to have to talk about it.
like, in 7th grade, I had a teacher who literally had a whole lesson about the N-word and was saying, like, the N-word to my face and, like, very, like, emphasizing it. And I was one of the only black people in my classroom. And I felt so uncomfortable, and it's like I already felt uncomfortable, and like now you're sitting here.
Yeah, and if you have no other black people in the room with you, what else do you?
It's just a room full of white people looking
You're
at
trapped.
you. Like,
there's nothing you can do.
No.
There's nowhere you can feel comfortable. You're just in an unsafe situation.
And then in the classroom, what are you told? It's not one of those spaces that as a kid you can just leave. You don't have that authority, but also it's your comfort level, and you are left just kind of feeling like it is a part of your history, but they're not doing justice by it, right?
Yeah, and it's like, why are you sitting here telling me what NWA means?
Yes.
When you should be telling me the stem of that word. You should be telling me
Yes.
this, where it's like rooted from, why your ancestors said that, like, and it's
just such a brush over history, and it's disrespectful.
It's so disrespectful. We're asking for basic human rights. We're
not
asking to be
much.
treated like human beings.
Respect my
nothing
life,
more, nothing less.
And respect the quality of my life.
Yes. It's like you should be lucky we're not asking for reparations.
We're not, You
We're
should be lucky that we just want equal rights at this point. At this point, I understand and I feel for the black people out there that are angry and have a lot of anger and hurt and want to turn that pain into a full fight, but we can't do that. We have to keep the peace.
No.
We're forced to swallow the pill and keep the peace.
Yep, like they're still killing us. Like police brutality is still going to happen. And it's like, when are we truly going to come together and say enough is enough? Because we're tired of, seeing our brothers and sisters dying on social media like this shit is normal.
Yeah.
Seeing us die on social media, that is not normal.
It keeps on repeating. It was slavery first, then it was the Jim Crow laws, and now it's mass
it manifests
incarceration.
itself
It keeps on manifesting its way in numerous ways.
But we keep on pushing it to the side because we think that's not important.
Yeah.
I feel like. But for us, it is. For the youth and for, the people before us, like, it is. But our whole lives, we've been constantly hush, 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 hush. But no. And it's like, we're out here saying his name, like George Floyd. But do people understand why we are saying his name? Understanding the power of his name, like what his name has sparked. It's not just, that one video. It's for all the black people who have been killed and brutalized over the years.
It's just he is nothing but a vessel for all the other names.
He
holds all their spirits, and all we fear is, are we going to be the next vessel? Are we going to be the next pot to be shattered? And it is genuinely frightening.
And it's
me-
like, go ahead.
No, I was just saying for me, after seeing that video and everything, all the outbreak, what hurt me the most was knowing that there's another name after that. There's still going to be another name after that. And that broke my heart because I knew so badly that I wanted this to be the last one. Everyone wanted it to be the last time. But we all knew in the back of our heads it wasn't.
Like Travis, like meeting Travis Nagdy, he was one of the main activists in Louisville. And his voice was so like, just like brotherly, like, just like, you know, like I went out there, he made me feel like home. He just made me feel so comfortable and just so like, his energy was just unmatchable. And like for him to like accept me and like play basketball with me and like not even know me, not even know who I was, and just to be so open, and then to like hear like, I don't know how many months later, you know, that he got killed, like, and it just was so surreal. It's like, you know, saying your friend's name, like, it's just, you never think, you know, you'll have to do that until, you know, you do it.
You do.
You know?
Until you do.
I definitely feel like the Black community in Portland has gotten a lot stronger.
Yes.
I definitely feel
I feel
more
like there's something-
connected to the Black
We've
community.
always
in
had
Portland.
it, but it's tighter. It's
Yeah.
stronger.
Yeah.
And in that trauma, those moments where we are heartbroken, it's not just a neighbor. We genuinely have, we know where to go.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
know where we can just
You're
breathe
safe.
together. Right. And my parents were, you know, I was talking about the protest, and I said this, and I said, you know, they're like, what is your favorite thing about this? And my answer was that I don't have to explain. It's understood. It's universally understood how I feel. I don't have to explain or try to make somebody else understand what it's like.
You don't have to think. You're just there.
You
You
know.
just show
You
up.
just
and
know
you're
what the
there.
trauma is. You know how
Yeah.
you're feeling. You know the moment. You can just feel. You don't have to try to help someone else get to that point. You just feel.
Or you don't have to feel bad for being unapologetically
Exactly.
Black.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like for me, coming from Corvallis, a white community, I led my own. The only protest that had taken place in my white hometown was led by me. And ever since I've left, there has been no progress. There's still in a dead loophole. Like,
Yeah, like being from Indiana, say the same thing. I mean, it's a lot different because like the part where I come from a small town from Indiana, and then like the next biggest city is Indianapolis. And Indianapolis is a lot different. And you know, I would go out like every weekend, like to see my grandma or something, and just see how different like my environment was from the Indianapolis environments. And it's just like such a eye-opener because like the people in that small town don't know what's really going on in that big city because it's not happening to their people, you know? And it's like, we have to take care of our people, for real. We have to make them feel us. We have to make them hear us because they're not going to, you know, go out of their way to hear something that doesn't affect them, you know, or to want to make change. But this is stuff we go through on a daily basis. This is our realities, you know? This is the way we feel. And they don't understand that because they never had to.